That crow on your fence knows your face, and it can hold that memory and a grudge for up to 17 years. If you have ever wronged one, it has already told every other crow in the neighborhood exactly who you are. This is not superstition, it is documented science. Crows recognize individual human faces, they remember the ones who threaten them, and they pass that knowledge on to crows that have never once met you. Most people walk past crows every day with no idea they are being watched, cataloged, and remembered. In this video, we're going through 7 signs a crow has marked you, what each one means, and what the crow actually wants from you. Subscribe before you go, because after this, you will never look at a crow on a wire the same way again. And stay all the way to number 7, because it's the one that proves a crow's grudge can outlive the crow that started it. The first sign is the quietus. A crow that has marked you does not ignore you. It tracks you. You'll notice the same crow watching from a wire, a roof, a high branch, turning its head to follow you across the yard. In 2010, Dr. John Marzluff at the University of Washington proved why. His team wore rubber masks, trapped and banded a handful of crows, then walked the campus. The crows learned the face, not the clothes, not the walk, the face. Brain scans later showed that when a crow sees a human, it has flagged. The activity lights up in its amygdala, the same fear processing region you have. It is not casually looking at you. It is running your face against a memory. So the next time you feel like a crow is watching you, you're probably right. Note whether it's the same bird, in the same spot, at the same time. That's not a coincidence. That's a file being opened. Sign 2 is impossible to miss once it happens to you. A crow that harshly scolds you or swoops at your head while ignoring everyone else has marked you as a threat. In Marzluff's study, the crows aggressively scolded and mobbed only the dangerous mask, the one worn when they were trapped. Years later, a total stranger could put on that same mask and get dive-bombed on sight. Here's what most people miss. The crow isn't angry in the moment. It's acting on a judgment it made a long time ago. So think back. Did you ever chase one off your car, scare one from a nest, throw something near a group of them? You may not remember it, the crow does, and it may have been holding that grudge for years. Sign 3 is the good one. A crow that has marked you as safe, as a provider, sometimes starts paying you back. The most famous case belongs to a girl named Gabby Mann from Seattle. She started feeding the crows in her yard almost by accident, dropping chicken nuggets she couldn't finish. By the time she was 8 years old, the crows were bringing her presents. Buttons, screws, beads, a blue paperclip. Once, a pearl-colored heart, still her favorite. She kept every single one, labeled and stored like tiny treasures. Biologists are careful here. It's not fully proven that crows gift the way humans do, but the pattern is real enough that even Dr. Marzluff, the same researcher behind the mass study, has said he's seen an awful lot of things crows bring people. A crow that trusts you files you under ally, not threat, and it treats the two completely differently. So if you feed the crows in your yard and you start finding odd little trinkets near the feeder, don't throw them away. You may have just been marked in the best possible way. Sign 4 looks like chaos. A crowd of crows appears out of nowhere, all cawing loudly around one spot, or one person, or one dead bird. People call it a crow funeral. In 2015, researchers at the University of Washington showed what's really happening. When crows find a dead crow, they gather around it, not out of grief, but to learn. They are memorizing the place, the danger, and any human or predator nearby that might be responsible. That knowledge doesn't stay local. Crows that witness the gathering carry the warning to other flocks they meet afterward, and within days, crows blocks away, who were never at the scene, start reacting to the exact same danger. A single funeral can quietly rewrite the threat map of an entire neighborhood. So a crow gathering isn't random noise. It's a live danger briefing. The whole flock is downloading a lesson at once. If you ever walk outside and a group of crows locks onto you and erupts, stand still and look around. Something there marked you as connected to danger, and every crow in that group is now learning your face. Sign 5 is subtle. and it means the crow has studied you more than you've studied it. Crows map routines. Yours. They learn when you leave for work, when you take out the trash, when you fill the feeder, when the school kids drop crumbs on the same corner, and they show up early, waiting because they've turned your predictable behavior into a reliable food schedule. This is the same intelligence that lets crows in cities drop nuts in front of car tires to crack them, then wait for the light to change to collect them safely. None of this should surprise you. Crows have a brain-to-body ratio close to that of great apes, and their forebrains are packed with a similar number of neurons. Recent brain scan research on American crows found that the more skilled a crow becomes at using tools, the more its brain activity shifts toward the same circuits primates use for fine motor control. A brain built for that kind of problem-solving does not forget your trash schedule by accident. So if there's a crow that greets you at the same time every single day, understand what that means. It didn't happen by chance. You are a fixed point on a map inside that bird's head. Sign 6 connects to something we covered before. Last time, we met the silent commander of your backyard, the hawk that rules everything by fear. There is exactly one bird that refuses to obey it, the crow. When a hawk or an owl enters the area, most birds freeze and hide. Crows do the opposite. They call in reinforcements, form a mob, and drive the predator out, screaming its exact location to the entire neighborhood the whole time. This behavior, called mobbing, is one of the clearest signs of crow intelligence. They take a real risk to remove a shared threat, and they coordinate to do it. So if the crows in your yard suddenly go tense and then explode upward in a screaming group, don't look at them. Look where they're looking. They've just spotted the one bird even they take seriously. And here's number 7, the one that should genuinely unsettle you. In Marzluff's study, the Grudge didn't stay with the original crows. Young crows born years later that had never been trapped, never seen the mass before, still scolded and mobbed it on sight. The parents taught them, the flock taught them. The knowledge of a dangerous face was passed down like a story, refreshed every generation. 17 years after the experiment began, the Grudge was still alive, carried by birds that were not even hatched when it started. What this means is strange and a little humbling. In your neighborhood, the way you treat one crow may not end with that crow. It can become part of the flock's memory, taught to birds you will never meet, about a face you can never change. You are not just being watched by the crow on your fence. You may be a story its family already tells. But even institutional memory has an expiration date. By September of 2023, 17 years after Marzluff first put on that mask, his team walked the same route one more time. For the first time since the experiment began, not a single crow scolded them. The story had finally been forgotten, which means somewhere in your own neighborhood, if you've ever done something to earn a grudge, there may already be a clock quietly counting down on it too. But here's something even the crow doesn't expect. There is a bird in your backyard that lies, on purpose. It fakes the scream of a hawk to clear the feeder and steal the food for itself. And it fools the crows, the cardinals, everyone. Next time, we'll meet the con artist of your backyard. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Tell me in the comments, have you ever been followed, scolded, or dive-bombed by a crow? And do you know what you did to earn it? I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.